Okay, today's how-to video is fixing a toilet. Down here we're going to replace the supply line because you see it's leaking. And the first thing you're going to want to do is turn off the supply line coming into the house. You can find it pretty much on the outside wall of your house. But here's what's going on. See how that's filling? Remember how it was supposed to look? Well, this is how it looks now. Something's blocking the line, or this valve is just broken. So what we have here is a new float assembly and a new supply line. Turn off the supply line. Grab some towels, clean up behind the toilet, because you're going to be crawling around on there for about 20-30 minutes. Lift the flapper to get every bit of water out of there that you can. Have yourself some kind of container because you're going to put it up under there as you loosen that screw. And reach up under there, and most of these are just a hand turn, and you can turn this one off. It's going to get rid of your supply line. And then the bigger nut behind it, you'll turn out the same way. And this just lifts straight out. I've loosened it up with a crescent wrench. I can take it rest off with my fingers. And if you want to see how much water is going to come out of there, you can crack the valve open and see if she's going to flow. You know, see how much flow I got? So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to set that pipe wrench up, let it brace itself on the floor, maybe even get a towel in there. And this is so this doesn't move as we take a crescent wrench to back off this end. So you're going to have your new one with your valve, your compression, and your regular nut. Now some of these are actually welded on, but James doesn't play with fire. Otherwise, you know, if I had to, I'd have to call a plumber if it was. So, and this is going to be another tool you need. That's a pipe cutter, and you're going to cut it off as close to that compression nut as you can. And don't try to use a hacksaw because you'll get the pipe out around. Now you'll take your wire brush and clean that 100 years of gunk off of there. Slide the nut on right with the threads pointing out. And take your compression ring, put it right on there. Now, you get a good end on your plumber's tape and get it around here in the same directions that the thread's going, so righty-tighty with your tape. I got about 2 or 3 wraps of that tape on there. I'm just going to line it up there. Start it with my fingers. And then once it's started, and the same deal with the plumber's tape around these threads. You see how it's got a little rubber ring down in it. I'm hoping to use the old one. If that rubber ring's in bad shape, be cool because it could leak there. Make sure that your hose, your supply line, is taking the path of least resistance to get up in here because you don't want any torque on that. Less torque is better. And then I just tighten it up, hand tightens it. So we turn the water off at the other end to make sure that when we turn this one on, if it's flooding in there, it won't be so bad. And now we're going to turn it back on at the toilet and see how this goes. Check for leaks. Everything feels dry. That's a good sign. We'll crank this over. So we turn all the water on, toilet's filled up, and we'll come back in a couple minutes just to make sure. And feel up around here, see if it's still dry, and see if this is still dry down here. If you have any drips, just get on there, turn it with your fingers. You know, the one plastic nut, turn with your fingers, and turn the other one with a wrench just a little tiny bit until that drip goes away. That should be it. Hopefully you saved a couple $100. You don't have to bring a plumber in here. And us starving artists, we need every dime we can get. Thanks, Pop. So my water line wouldn't get high enough, so what you do is you get on the float mechanism. You're going to turn it about a quarter turn and see how you can bring that baby up. Bring it up just about the height of the rim of the toilet. That way when your lid gets on there, it ain't bumping it. So now we can set the water level. So you start with your screw putting that float all the way down so that you don't overflow it. Then we'll wait for it to come up. Make sure your water level shuts off where your old water line was. And ta-da! And the last step, put all your tools away and take all the old parts and throw them away, Dad.